I remember a long, long time ago, like they didn't tell me when Charisse was pregnant with my nephew. It's just kind of like I overheard and I pieced two and two together. And so like one time we were all in the kitchen together at mom's house because that's where we hang out. And they were talking something about sex. And I was just like, Mom, you've only had sex 3 times. Like, what are you talking about? Because you only have sex to have children. There's no other reason to do it.
The only reason why we do it. Yep.
But as a child,
same thing.
Yeah.
And I was grossed out 5 times.
That's excessive. That's too much. Like y'all have like meals to cook and and homes to clean, sitting around having sex for no reason and not getting children out of it. Like, what's the point?
Irresponsible. Welcome to Rappin Atlanta. I'm Nita Charisse.
And I'm Nikki.
And in this podcast, we have a frank, honest, and open conversation about the FX show Atlanta.
We have noticed that there are similar features in each show, and during our discussion, we offer our impressions on what those features are. There's a That's So Atlanta moment in each episode that most clearly and accurately depicts the spirit or quirk that is Atlanta and life in the American South.
Dariusisms highlight the special flavor the character Darius brings to the show because he is easily one of the most layered, complex, and compelling characters on television.
There always seems to be a mystical element or some strange thing that happens beyond all logical reason and sometimes scientific explanation. We've all experienced those kinds of moments.
And finally, the SGR moment is very plainly the moment in each show when shit got real and we are reminded that life is not a game and desperation has the power to motivate any and every possible action.
Today we're reviewing Season 4, Episode 3, Born to Die. This episode was directed by Adamma Ebo and written by Jamal Olori. Paperboy tries out talent management while Earn attempts to represent an elusive artist. Let's start at the top because Paperboy's part, I think, like you said, it was the best part of the episode. So he is performing at a bar mitzvah, mm-hmm. And he comes out of there, and
I was like, oh my god,
yeah, that was hilarious. But like, it reminded me how a lot of celebrities, they will supplement like their tour, their record sales by doing private performances. So one of the links I'll share with our audience is like, you know, how to book an agent or the amount of money that, how to book a performer, but the amount of money celebrities make. Yeah. Like they might go to a party and do 3 or 4 songs and leave with a couple of million.
Yeah.
You know, so that's amazing to me.
I would do that shit. You don't have to deal with like all the people, and you know that whoever's you're there to perform for wants you. Like, yeah, you know, like it's a pretty safe environment. You know,
I know. Like, I kept hearing about certain celebrities going and performing for like the Saudis,
like dictators and shit. Like. Yeah. Like it would come out like, these are the people whose cars are run by children's tears and Beyonce performed for them. Like, I didn't even know about this dude until somebody like, you know, and it always seemed pretty secret too. Mm-hmm. You know, like not like they have to put it in the fan newsletter, but it's like, it's kind of like how watching the show Entourage is how I found out that so many celebrities do random, very stupid commercials in like Japan. Where it would be like, was that Julia Roberts like doing a commercial for like a terry cloth paperclip? Like what? Like why is she doing it? Because they get paid so much money. I don't know where that came from, but like they get paid so much money just because their face is selling like some weird like energy drink, but it's a secret. Like they never want anybody in the States to know, and that's the vibe that I get from these performances for like some chic somewhere that like. Rapes women. He's like, bootylicious.
Okay, so Paperboy does this show, and immediately, like, I'm just so annoyed. I just went down, and I'm sure you did too, that the whole thing with, oh, what you do is so amazing, that it's blackness. He is the guy, the rich Jewish father is enamored with Paperboy's blackness and wants to absorb it
and wants to buy it. You can't buy everything. And he says,
yeah,
like the thing you do, and you make it so believable, which right there is shade, because this is not shtick.
No.
To a certain degree, it is shtick, meaning however Paperboy acts on stage, because they've never really shown him really too much, is a heightened version of him, but that's us.
Yeah, it's
us. Like that is us. You can't.
Yeah, I don't think most Black men go around, posturing as if they are in front of a camera, like filming a rap video.
Not for a certain year. No, the ones now do. Because they are on camera.
Yes. Everybody is creating content all the time, but yeah, it's a persona that we put on, and it's historical. It comes out of our experience and everything. It's uniquely us, and oh, goodness, you heard about that social beef thing where you had all these white folks in a European country who put out this tweet saying like the terms that Generation Z coined, and all of those terms have been around forever, and it's all African American vernacular.
All of it.
English.
The way that they talk is like this weird version of Black slang. All of it. And they don't even know. But you know what it also reminded me of? I don't know if we talked about this. I think I talked about this with Lance. You heard about the record company that recently killed what they were doing, where they had this avatar, this Black rapper avatar that was being controlled. And that's what I wanted to link to. But it's a white guy that's behind it. And so they've since distanced themselves from it. But it's one of those things where a lot of people didn't know. And it's like you distancing yourself from, but you were doing it. And I forget the person's name. And there's more than one. Like there was like another one that was on deck. And I'm like, so y'all not even going, like, it's like you take some program, some tech person that is skilled at that, but is also imitating. And it is literally an avatar of a like young Black kid rapper. And there were songs, like there's a song that they released, because I was listening to a podcast and they were like, man, this beat actually, like, this actually goes off. And it's like, I'm sure it does, but it's the whole principle of it. And I think it was Sony.
That's the second time something like this happened, because they did it with this rap artist, but then before that, they created a Black model, and she was completely computer generated, and they were having her do ad campaigns. And I'm just like, all the Black women walking around trying to get into the modeling industry, you can't pick any one of those gorgeous women. You had to create one so you could control.
Yeah, because you can, because the one that you create is your property. And gone are the good old days when that's what we were classified as. Now they just have to secretly think that, or be mad that like, they knew how to act back then. And the thing that's terrifying is that's coming out of the mouths of people that are like, you were never involved in that, like super young. Like that's why when people say like, oh, this generation is going to be different, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be like people who are woke and get it. And then there's going to be the little racists too. The racists haven't stopped procreating, and they don't look like they used to look. They don't look like the Young Republicans Club. They look like all the little boys that was sitting in the studio and can turn around and say the most racist shit. That's why you got these nerds that are mad that they're Zyborg. I'm not into sci-fi. I don't know what that is, but the Zyborgs are supposed to be polka dotted. They were never Black. They were never niggers. I mean, Blacks. Like, that's why the racism, like there is no trope. There's no like redneck with overalls and like flannel shirt. It can be anybody. And the fact that it's a white guy that's behind the Black scent, just the mannerisms, and it's like, there's not even anybody Black getting paid even in this. Like I would still be mad about it, but if you had like some young Black kid who was like, had the tech brain like most of these kids and was doing it, I would be a little less mad. because at least this boy is putting some money in his pocket. But we're still not in there because that's what they want. They just want us, but they don't want us because we speak up now and have agency to some degree. Yeah. That's what just made me kind of like, okay, it's gonna get on my nerves, but it'll be entertaining. So, okay.
Yeah, they could at least do like a little Penny Hardaway thing where little Penny Hardaway was Chris Rock. Remember that? I went way back. I don't even watch basketball. I don't even know how I know that shit. Remember Penny Hardaway, the basketball player? He was a big deal. And then he had a commercial where there was like this miniature version of him and it was voiced by Chris Rock.
Oh, Tim Hardaway?
No, I thought it was Penny Hardaway.
I think the penny is throwing me off because I pictured a little girl. Maybe that was his name. Maybe he called him Penny Hardaway because it wasn't like, I thought his name was Tim Hardaway, the basketball player.
Yeah, Penny Hardaway.
I don't know what that is.
He's now a basketball coach, but he was a former professional player.
Huh.
He now coaches the Tigers at University of Memphis. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I do not watch sports, so I don't even know where that came from, but I know things. So
okay, they're both real. I just don't know Penny. I only know Tim.
Okay, they're real. And one's name is Tim and one's name is Penny. I don't know if they're related.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. He's former professional basketball player and coach. Okay. Yeah, he played for I just remember my dad and my brothers like arguing / talking about Tim Hardaway this, Tim Hardaway that. And like, okay. Yeah. Penny Hardaway, that passed me up. Yeah, I never heard of that.
I remember the little miniature Penny, and it was voiced by Chris Rock. So there was Black people, making money off of. Anyway, okay. So what happened? Paperboy makes the million. He agrees to be bought to help Benny. And so he shows up in the studio with Buck, who I guess is another industry guy, like on the cusp.
Yeah, I don't know why. What's with these names?
We've had this happen with Paperboy before, where it's like he's knowledgeable, but then he's also very ignorant.
Yes. So he's like hard-headed too. People tell him stuff, and he like, nah, and then he later like, oh, word.
At least because, Buck is telling him like, well, you should have made 10 million. He's like, well, they got $1 million. That's a lot of money. And I'm doing like, he's invested on his phone. I'm like, you don't have an accountant by now? Like,
He's a nigga. He is. He's got Earn, right? Earn has told him these things. And he still ain't called a realtor. Like he's just hard. It's like he's making. Oh, yeah. Listen, when you are a petty bitch, you have tabs running. Guys like, so from 2005, I'm waiting. It ain't gonna happen though. I don't want it to happen. I want to have something over on you. Don't make it right. I need to be mad. I got a house to clean. I got children to raise. You better leave me this anger. No, but he's making like little incremental shifts because last season he was clowning Earn for even uttering the word invest. Now he's like, all right, nigga, I'm gonna go in and get it on Robinhood. He's gonna do it, but in the most nigga way possible. Like, get a person, you're rich, because that's what confuses me sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, is he, like, why is he still driving himself? That's what's irritating me. Because if I had the chance for somebody to just drive me around, like, I just think that, come on, like, you rich, this is personal and petty. I just want to see him in the back of vehicles more. That's all. But like, it's like you're putting up with the stress of sitting in traffic. Like, you fussing at this little Yoda boy about like, don't mess up your paint job. You just look like a successful drug dealer, like, which is a step up from the kind of drug dealer you were before, which was kind of like small time. It's like, come on, paper boy. It's like regular niggas do Robinhood. Because we can't pay for FaceTime. You have the money, and I'm sure Earn has given you, like, Earn takes care of you, but Earn also knows, like, listen, I told him I'm about to go take care of me, but that just fit to me. Like, of course this nigga's on Robinhood. And of course he's acting like $1 million is a lot. I'm a regular ass person. And if I got $1 million, I would be grateful and thankful, but I would still be looking at the next thing because that's nothing now. It's nothing. Like, not for like, I want to be able to not have to worry about my child if something were to happen to me now. $1 million is a really good start. And and I ain't got no money and I know that. And this nigga has more than $1 million. So yeah, he's still just like small-minded. He's still thinking as if he's who he was like when we first met him. And I don't think that that's going to change with him because he's just regular.
I would really love for his character to go back to school, but this is the last season. That's probably not going to happen. It's wishful thinking, but whatever.
I just want him to just go on and just be like who he actually is. And I'm wondering like if we're going to get a glimpse of that. Like I'm kind of hoping for, even though this is tropey, I'm kind of hoping for a time jump. It doesn't have to be the entire episode. It could be like one of those like, what happens later. Like, have you ever seen that TikTok where people are like spoofing how Black movies in the 90s ended? And they'll show somebody doing something and then it pauses and it says, Tariq started his own chain of such and such. They
always have him like doing like,
and it's that same song. It's just a song of, and I'm hopeful for today. And I know it was a famous 90s song. It's like, it's uplifting. Everybody uses the same song and the person has like a basketball and they stop. It's like, such and such went on the coach. I hope that they do something like that, like where we see, you know, like Paperboy with a feather bow on or something, like what he actually wants to do, whatever the hell it is that he really is, or he's like on a yacht with Darius. Something, girl, something. Yeah, and Darius is like right there cooking for him. So it's like back to the first season, but their digs are much more luxurious, but he's still like making cookies and like cold sliders and shit.
These characters very well. Let's talk about these little white boy rappers. Cause okay, so there was Yodel Kid and like auto-tune yodeling. What the fuck? But watch
that's
somebody actually. Then there's Benny, who is just going out of his way to epitomize wiggerness. And then Little Rick, which I think nobody can tell me that was a dig at Lil Dicky. Because I know Donald Glover.
Cannot stand that shit. It had to be. I loved how, you know, he said, turn on that Ricky Rock. And the guy was like, okay, Ricky Rock? What's that? And he's like, I don't know. It's for the internet to decide. And it's like, yeah, that's like what's actually happening. Because, you know, there have been lots of people's who their musical careers, although they've had them forever, they've been launched on TikTok and somebody found a snippet of a portion of their song and used it for something. And now everybody's like, man, have you heard this new artist? So it's like people's careers really are being made on TikTok and resurrected.
What's his name? Jack Harlow? Is that his name? The KFC dude who I was just like, why is his face on the side of KFC? I was just like, is that young Colonel Sanders now? Because I didn't know.
I don't know what you're talking about with that, but I know that Jack Harlow is the latest little white boy, and there was some fake beef between him and Brandy because he didn't know who Brandy was. He didn't know that Ray J had a sister, which made my inner core just turn like that little tick on humanity. It would not be known if it wasn't for his sister.
Jack Harlow is now, because he's from Kentucky, so they've got his face painted on Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants now. And I passed by, I was like, what the fuck? Like that's young Colonel Sanders. And then like the fact that, okay, you have this recipe that was created by enslaved Black people because chicken was the only thing that they were allowed to own. So they took it, made a delicacy out of it that white folks stole and claimed that there wasn't no fucking colonel that revolutionized the flavor of fried chicken. There's no fucking way. But now they have this little white boy who has appropriated Black culture because he's calling himself a rapper and his face is now the face of chicken.
That's what I'm saying. Layers got us out here fighting, but we the ones who eat fried chicken. It's like driving us literally insane. Like it's got you like wanting to knock stuff out of people and put that watermelon down.
There's this watermelon stand that I drive past sometimes, like to take the kids wherever I'm taking them. But it's this watermelon stand on one of the main thoroughfares over there, and I'm every time I pass by it, I just want to stop the car and then go and just fuck up. I was like, this is Black folks shit.
They would take you directly to jail. They're just like, I'm just sitting here minding my mouth.
It's like, I'm just trying to sell my produce. Like, what's wrong? Like, these white boys, Yodel Kid was high in the studio. He was high when he came in there. I was like, ooh, that might be problematic. And sure enough. Okay, so then
It was funny though. He got some good lines.
So then I hate it when Benny said, "Oh, you're the one my father bought."
I put that in our string. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're the one," and I was like, "Oh God, they're gonna make this hard to watch."
Yeah, that was difficult. It was yeah.
Because he did buy him.
Yeah, that exactly what happened, and it wasn't like he was buying him for his talent. He was buying his essence. Can you go and rub your blackness off on my child so he can exploit that to make more money, even though we already have a lot of money?
As if they need, yes. When they're at that school and he's like, I can't believe you're getting away with this. I'm rich. And I'm like, you already were.
Yeah.
You already were.
Yeah. So, okay. So then we go to Earn's agency and they're doing crisis control about this white woman writer who pulls a gun on a fundraiser at her
a fundraising team.
And the video goes viral, as it should. Now, that scene especially annoyed me because it reminded me like how often companies are involved in making news and shaping news. Because we helped clients with their crisis communication plans and then figured out strategies to rehabilitate their imagery after they fucked up in some kind of way. And the fact that it was a Black person, I could tell by their voice, who said, "Oh, well, we could just comment about the level of crime in the neighborhood." I'm like, nigga.
Yep. Yes. And the white woman who said, "Oh, I just finished a book." It really gave me a real paradigm shift. And I'm like, so your opinions are coming off of jacket covers now? Like, I wanted to smack her. What I also noticed was how no one seemed surprised or shocked. There were very few people that had a reaction to what they were seeing, which just shows you that they know, like, yeah, this woman wrote this book. Because I got the feeling that she wrote a book that had to do with race or something like it, because she was like, a real paradigm shift on how things aren't always what they seem. And I'm like, so it sounds super basic, like super like, yes, this is not new shit that you're uncovering. No one looked like her who wrote that book is doing this. Everyone was just like, and some white people in that scene looked like, oh, yeah, I mean, I could see it. Like, he's standing at your door. So something to be worried about. You know, and then I just love how Atlanta in general always takes things that are super believable and that happen, but it's always like ratcheted up. Like the way she just freely just had that gun and was like, like probing him with it. And it was like, they always make it a little funny almost. Like I was horrified, but the second time I watched it was like, this is so stupid. He's like standing there with like a box of candy bars and she's literally like, like probing him with it. It's like, this is so unreal. But then you say that with a grain of salt because it's like, next year something like this will happen. But it's just so absurd. She looked like believable at the same time.
He was pointing the guns like those white folks that during the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020 when they came out. Yes, that's how she was pointing the gun like them.
Like that couple?
Yeah, the couple that got in trouble for it. And
just like, hey, like using it like a probe, or like they're like checking for like tonsillitis or something. You just, and everybody's just sitting there like, and I'm just.
Well, for that, I got the sense that it had made news because they're watching it on. Remember that? Was it What Happens Next? Or there's some sort of
Now This or
now this. So this news had been out, so they weren't. I can't imagine they'd be shocked by it. They'd all seen it, but now they were like, working to rehabilitate her.
I don't know. Some of them white folks just look like, I mean, I could see it. Like some of them were just like, I remember like looking and, I don't know, but that office reminded me of like the first time they ever went to the Spotify offices.
Yeah.
It's just like little things like, wow, Ernest really made it. Or he's like, they really are in a different Atlanta right now, like a different part of it. And I just love how he was like, can we just, can I just like do something else?
Yeah. I was like, yes, Ern, I love you again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other black guy that he left behind, like, had this look like, I didn't know that we could do that. Like, Ern, like, walks off and he's like staring after him, like, I would also like to, I wish I had thought of that.
Yeah, like going through the other door, even when a woman in a wheelchair is blocking the door.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway.
Oh, that's why I'm paying tuition. Oh, Jesus. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was wondering, like, when he said, I'm going to go off to get D'Angelo, and it's funny that the white guy who was running the meeting says, yeah, go off and get D'Angelo or something or whatever. He's like, I think I could do that. And I'm like, the real D'Angelo? Like how does it feel, D'Angelo?
Yeah. Like, it was almost just like he's a known white whale. And it was just kind of like, he almost seemed like, I'm tired of earning shit. Like, he don't want to be here. Like, I don't want his negative energy. Like, sure, go get D'Angelo. And now that I know what it is, it made me wonder, like, does this dude know that this is some bullshit, that it's not going to be D'Angelo? Or is it just like, you know what? Like, it makes me feel like Ern has been maybe speaking up or just being like, this is dumb. Like, why? And he's just like sick of Ern shit. So I was like, this is like a student that's like, can I go just help the library? Yes, go. Just please go. I don't care.
Now, okay, so that what made me wonder. Of course, when they brought up D'Angelo, I was like, has D'Angelo been difficult to manage? Because I heard that his manager died. I saw that one of his managers had died, but I didn't hear that he was necessarily problematic, as an artist, regarding his representation. I know that he had a hard time dealing with being a sex symbol, after How Does It Feel about, because he grew up in the church. That's how he learned to sing, and he learned instrumentation and all of that. But yeah, I hadn't heard, or maybe that's industry knowledge or whatever, but it seems like some of it would trickle down to the internet. So we could have had some connection as to why he's such an elusive talent, or they're portraying him as an elusive talent.
I just took it as, I was like, I don't know. I kind of thought, like, I wonder if they're just kind of throwing it out there because, I mean, I don't really follow D'Angelo anymore, and I'm not gonna be like one of those people that just says somebody's not doing something because I haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. But it just kind of like made me wonder, like, are they just kind of just pulling a random name that's sort of, it's not popping right now, or like we don't really know that much? I don't know, because they also said Banksy. The guy was like, I don't know, like D'Angelo or Banksy or somebody. Like, he was kind of like, unless you're talking about, it was whenever Ern said, like, can we just focus on something else? I believe the white guy was like, he threw Banksy in. So that made me think, like, okay, why those
Banksy is, and Banksy is definitely the epitome of elusive talent, because nobody actually knows who he is.
Yeah, so I think that they were just kind of thrown, but it did make me wonder, like, what's up with D'Angelo? Why? And then I was like, oh, are they just being random Atlanta and just doing something? But I immediately was like, okay, we're not about to see him. This is going to be a Tupac thing. And so from that point, I was just like, how is it going to be framed? I was so disappointed when he actually turned around.
Yeah, I was.
No, leave it the other way.
But anyway. I did find aspects of that scene interesting. So, okay, so then we go from that meeting to...
Are we at the school with Paperboy? Like, there's like a school concert?
Because
No, the meeting. That random ass meeting.
But they find out what a YWA is, a young white avatar. And I was just like, you know what? This is crazy, but it's true. And, that's why I put in the notes, like...
I immediately thought about Usher. I was like, Usher and Dre.
Just
immediately.
But like Eminem and Dr. Dre, Akon and Lady Gaga.
Now, I did not connect those two.
No, Akon he signed Lady Gaga. Akon was working on this project with, was it Loosen Up My Buttons, Babe? You remember those?
Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah, he was working on some shit for them and a couple of other artists, and he got stuck somewhere. So Lady Gaga came in, and they were working together, and he was like, "You're really talented, so I'm going to sign you to my label." So he signed her to his label, and then she blew up, and then he sold her. He treated her like a product. He treated her like white producers and managers treat Black artists. And I'm not upset, but that fool was from Senegal. Him and Issa, them Senegalese people, not to be messed with. They're business minded, smart. Yeah. So, you say T.I. with Iggy Azalea. T.I. was responsible for Iggy.
Yeah, because I forgot. That's who I feel. That's what I feel like is happening on Rap Shit with the guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, that's Iggy Azalea and T.I. Except, I don't think he's a rapper. Also, I think he's a producer. But yeah, we have that fool to thank for that. And then I also had a joke in there. I said Obama with Biden. Just kidding.
And then what else?
I said Obama with Biden. Just kidding. I put it in the... As a facilitator, I was upset with him that he started off on chart paper and then randomly had a slide. That bothered me. Like, nigga, why didn't you just put everything on the slide? Like, can you just let me design your session, please? This is really pissing me off. Like, because when he said show on the slide, I'm like, you have a slide? Why isn't this shit on the slide? I put that in the stray observations. What was the transition?
And he assumed that everybody knew what a YWA was.
And why wasn't it artist? The avatar thing threw me off. And I was like, I guess that makes sense because it's an avatar for you. But I was like, yeah, young white artist. He's like, avatar. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but if it was an actual artist, then they wouldn't need Black management in order to succeed. But I can see why it's an avatar, because they're actually just an extension of this Black artist who wouldn't be able to because they're Black. So I was just like, okay, I'll fuck with that.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, avatar. Yes, makes sense. I totally thought it was artists because we're talking about, I mean, there's comedians who will never be whatever, but they're comedians. That's how I took it.
Yeah.
Like, artist. But yeah, okay. He was like, yeah, he was really like, I'm breaking you off, and Paperboy just being ignorant. Like, man, it's like, Paperboy, he doesn't get things the first 2-3 times you tell him.
The fact that Paperboy goes, yeah, I'll just put out a better album and go on tour after that. Like, no, the whole point is to work less. Like, make the money work for you. Like, why do you want to?
He's thick. Like, he's just a little thick. He's like small time. He does not think big, and maybe that comes from just like not really having anything. So like you're satisfied with this, but he's also stuck in the 90s at a time when Black rappers were in. Or it was a little bit more ludicrous that like these little dinky kids would not be it in the late 90s. Like Eminem slid on through. And I mean, I have to say, like whether I'm an Eminem fan or not, there's skill there, and there's longevity. Like, he's not like, oh, I'm a professor at Yale. Like, it wasn't a thing he was putting on. It really seems like that seems to be you. And if it's not, you're one committed ass motherfucker and you still deserve whatever, some kind of props. But these little boys now, I can see them as adults being like, oh yeah, I was a rapper once. And it's like, wow. Trust a little rich white boy to take something that is someone's end, the apex of their life, and have that be a thing you did. And like, now you're like on the United Nations or some shit.
Which is pretty much the a Little Dicky. And that's why I think this episode was made, just to get back at Lil Dicky, because like he was working for a marketing firm or an agency out of Hollywood, and he was using rap as a vehicle to, to promote his ideas or whatever. He's just like, oh, I just really like rap. I'm going to pursue this. Like,
and that's when you have like multiple things. Whereas you got other people that's like, rap saved my life.
Yeah.
Like it literally saved my life. I would be doing something right now that is putting me in physical danger, or like in danger of going to jail. But like now I'm safe now. You know, like for the ones that really put it aside and like, yeah, I live on a field in the country somewhere, my mama got a house, and this thing is just like, oh, that time I was a rapper. And it's like, now I'm about to go in like address Russia and Ukraine on some shit because rapping is a thing that I did. When you have infrastructure behind us, when your family has had generations to establish and solidify wealth, that's the kind of fucking life you have. And that's infuriating.
And then also to establish a network where you have vehicles to different avenues of wealth should your main vehicle break down. Like, Okay, so we go with Ern. Ern has texted this random person. Like, who did he text to discover who?
It's obviously somebody who he asked random questions, because the question right before that was like, what is that restaurant that's such and such? And they were like, oh, that's Junior's. He's like, oh yeah, thanks. I'm just like, who is this person that's just like your little Google? I think it's the girl that's lost in Atlantic Station.
Or Van, maybe.
Could be Van.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe. I mean, she's good. She knows, she moves in a lot of circles in Atlanta, so I don't see why she wouldn't know that. Like, there's so many random.
Show the top, huh?
No, like, they didn't. Okay.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah. So then he goes to rallies. There are no rallies in Georgia, only checkers.
That should have told his ass something there, like something crazy is about to happen. This should not be here.
I'm pretty sure that corner is a corner on Donald Lee Hollowell. Like, I know of it. And that on that corner, that's actually a Checkers. Mm-hmm. So he has to go to a Checkers, and they just switch the sign for the show. But yeah, I've been down there. You don't want to go down there at night. Like, it's
why?
It's kind of sketch over there. Like, it's kind of sketch.
Okay. I thought it was like a Lake Lanier situation. Like,
he goes into the back of the rallies, and there's a female bath inside, but there's an upside down a man for D'Angelo. Like, why is his office back there?
I don't know. It was just to be so random and weird.
It was random. He goes in and sits down on the mat. There's blood. There's check marks on the wall. There's the waiting area. There's dude reading that random book. Like,
he's got like a stack of pamphlets. I'm like, none of those things are long enough for where you are. Why do you have a bunch of pamphlets? It was just weird. Not pamphlets, but they all look like little books. Sort of. I just never think of things like that. Like, why don't you have like cast or some shit? Like, you look like you spent a lot of time in here.
Well, yes. And then he never left. Like, he doesn't leave either. Like, Van looks like he's been through changes. Like, by the end of the episode, he's taking off his shirt. You know, he's brushing his teeth. But that dude just sat there the entire time.
I don't know. Unless he clocks out. Maybe that's why he just has the little small books. Maybe he does go home. I don't know. But I wanted to know why there was blood down there. I'm like, did somebody get their period while waiting one time?
I don't know. I
get really concerned. I'm like, okay, wait, that's nothing to do with the story. But why is that there? It bothers me.
The fact that there's a sleeping bag there and not a bona fide chair or couch or like, what is this?
Weird.
And then I'm sorry, that pack of Dasani water pissed me off too. Cause like yeah, that would have been it for me too. You just have this pack of fucking Dasani water, and it's Dasani. And I know it's Dasani because Coke, you know, and Coke in Atlanta or whatever.
I was just thinking that's why that's so Atlanta. like the Dasani water. Because of Coke, because that was the first thing I thought. I was like, ooh, Dasani is trash. Like, it's like that's what set him off. Like, oh no. And I like how they just had it on like it was just kind of like thrown in there, like not cold, on one of those mini Black Twitter things when they're like things that Black people do, right up there with like leaving the stove light on at night. There's always like, why do Black people's water always look like this? And it's just a pack of water that's just kind of open and it's just on the floor. It's not in the refrigerator. It's not anything. That's what the Dasani looked like. Yes,
because there's only the little hole where you reach your hand in.
It's like somebody just, no one ever like processes that, like, and get rid of the, but we've done that. My mom like, why do we do that?
I got a 2-pack of orange juice sitting by my little mini freezer. right now, like, no. She was like, is there cabinet space? It's like, this little ass house, this little stamp house don't have no fucking cabinet space for this double pack of orange juice you got from Costco. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Then I know we've combined scenes at that point, but like do we go back to Paperboy?
Now that's when he's at the school.
Yeah, because he approached
after the meeting. Yeah.
Then he's already signed with Buck. Yodel Kid is there, high as hell. Was he trying to give away Percocet? Did he say he was on?
He was trying to give it to the adult that said, you need to get off the campus. He's like, come on, man, take some perks. You want some perks? Kind of like telling the administrator to settle down. I, as a former administrator, was like, what is this random concert happening? Who's in charge of this? What is happening? What? The Yodel Kid could have taken that girl somewhere, even though she looked like she had a kid that goes to school there. I was like, what high school is this? Was that a teacher? Couldn't have been. She was like holding a binder. That stressed me out a lot. Like, there are so many lawsuits that are just waiting to happen in this but like Yodel Kid, I don't know how he gets from place to place because he is not cognizant of like what is happening around him at all. Like at all. He's just like, what's up, baby? It's been so long. And Paperwork was like, this dude is pissing me off.
I kind of imagine that's how Robert Downey Jr. was before he got clean, because he was high all the time. And like, what? Everybody knows he's on drugs. Did he even get arrested? Maybe he got arrested a couple of times, but like
maybe, but he was completely forgiven.
Yeah.
By everybody. And then proceeded to stab Terrence Howard in the back. Terrence Howard, who I learned got him the gig in the first place on Iron Man. And then they replaced him with Don Cheadle. That's why he's bitter about that. He's like, so I asked for more money. Like I attached him to this because he needed his redemption song. And they were friends.
Yeah. Paperboy signs.
He signs a Yodel Kid. Because Benny is taken, he kind of registers that like, oh, that was kind of low. Like that guy sat in there and talked to me. But then that also shows how Paperboy is not sharp. Like he's sitting there trying to tell you in the studio, like he's kind of like trying to tell him what's up. And that's when Paperboy is like, like what? Like these kids can't rap. Like he's not getting it. And so while he's not getting it, the guy swoops in and takes Benny from him. And so then Yodel Kid, which he seems like he might be like a little concerned about him. This is like, this dude is just, but I figure like when he let him ride in the car after he was like vomit away from the paint, I was like, oh, that's going to end up being his person. Cause the Yodel Kid is a real dude. Like he's not trying to be a rapper. He's really this Yodel Kid that was like discovered in Walmart or something. There's a bunch of videos of him. I remember when he went on Ellen.
Oh my God, Yodel Kid is a real See, I didn't even catch
Yeah, he's real. So I linked to, of course, someone on YouTube did a trap remix to a song, but Yodel Kid he's never tried to be in hip hop, as far as I know. But he's this little bitty boy and it's very talented. Like the Yodel is like, well, this boy is really good. And it popped up in Walmart. Ellen saw him, put him on, and just for this show, they just made it like he's also trying to be a rapper. So I linked to the Yodel Kid trap remix in our notes, but he's real. Cute little boy.
That's right. Okay. So then we go back to Earn, and he finally realizes that D'Angelo is an experience, whatever. And then he climbs through this tunnel. And okay, what cracked me up about this scene was the fried chicken skin sandwich. Did you notice?
Yeah, I didn't. So this is a thing, I guess.
It is actually a thing because I Googled it. Because you know what? Like Popeye's chicken skin, delicious.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
And so like there are times when I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I don't even feel like eating the meat. I just want to eat this skin. Lo and behold, there are an abundance of recipes online for chicken skin sandwiches. I linked to a chicken skin.
I see it, yeah.
Yes.
But didn't he put peanut butter on his though?
Yes, and
that's what threw me off. Like I'm all for the skin, but I was like, wait, what? Peanut butter? That I've never heard of.
The thing is, the bread looked like the peanut butter had already been pre-applied, and then he took the time to take the skin off of the chicken and then add, which I
made my stomach hurt.
I was like, without the Loris and just the chicken skin, not the peanut butter, but like, yeah, I'm gonna try this recipe link that I linked to, because that sounds good. I'm gonna get me some Popeye's chicken and do that. Mm-hmm. Or some Bojangles. That chicken skin is pretty good.
Yeah, Bojangles is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. So after the school scene, where do they go? Oh, no. Sorry. We're back with D'Angelo and the weird sandwich. Okay.
D'Angelo, the weird sandwich. They have this exchange. The fake D'Angelo is singing or whatever. Ern doesn't end up signing him. He doesn't want to sign him, but I don't know. Like, what the lesson there was like, oh, you think that the hands grabbing you are mean or mean to do you harm? Maybe they mean to do you good. What is that? Maybe we'll get some.
I don't know. That made me think about Lake Lanier, actually. I'm like, are they, because it's just jumping all over the place. Yeah. Like when he was like the dream about the hands grabbing you. So, that was Ern was dreaming, I would say, when the opening of last season.
3 slaps.
With the hands grabbing him. So it's like, okay, maybe, the fact that he's in therapy this season, it just makes me wonder, like they're giving closure to things. We learned that, that he was abused by a relative. And now, like, I don't remember him ever talking about a reoccurring dream of hands grabbing him, but it's like we're in his head, like as his station in life is changing. I guess it's like causing him to just reflect on things. So when he said that, I immediately thought of the 2 men on the boat. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of chalked it up. I mean, I was disappointed, but I'm like, maybe this is kind of like, it'll make sense a little bit later on. I don't think the D'Angelo thing has anything to do with anything. I think it's nonsensical. I think it's him and his brother fucking around and just doing it. But the dream part, like, that made me think that this is just something just more like with his therapy and like dealing with things, that have plagued him. And then like, maybe they're helping him. Like, okay, maybe I'm just kind of looking at that. Hopefully like that's a remains to be seen type thing. Cause I don't even
know the D'Angelo thing came out of his head. Cause again, Jamal Olori wrote this. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't even know.
Yeah. Right. I guess I'm just thinking more in the thing of like in a writer's room where it's kind of like, people are like pitching premises and then somebody like, oh, okay, got it. Or it's like, oh, this happened to me one time and blah, 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 blah. I guess I just meant to just in general, it's like, I feel like it was just random. Like, let's just, because like D'Angelo is somebody that you can't project much upon because it's not like he's on TikTok. Like there's nothing that I've seen of him like right now. So it seems like if you either choose someone like a Banksy like that, is elusive because like that's their thing, or somebody that you can kind of just project whatever you want because what is happening with D'Angelo? Do we know? And like
with Black Messiah, and he pushed up the like. First of all, he comes out with Brown Sugar first, then Voodoo, and then long ass sabbatical because of the fallout from Voodoo, and then Black Messiah, and you can't understand half of the shit that he's saying.
I haven't even listened to it. Like I haven't. Not because like it wasn't like an active decision. It's just like lots of stuff out there. I just haven't listened to it.
Actually, a good album. You just can't understand what the fuck he's saying on most of the songs. You just kind of just hear the chorus, and I believe he recorded it in a tent.
See, so that kind of shit where it's like, yeah, niggas weird now. So like we could do something like this and it's like, okay, I believe that he's in a room somewhere with like really bad visual aids on the wall, like a teacher that has no supplies. That room made me mad. Yeah. I was like, what are those cutout letters with no backdrop?
No, the wood paneling. I cannot stand
wood paneling makes me want to murder people. Like this was an unfortunate design rabbit hole that we all went down and it needs to never be revisited ever, and it's trying to come back. They're trying to like make it more snazzy, but people are doing shit. Yeah, just go on TikTok. It's probably you haven't seen it on TikTok.
So some time has passed, and then we come back to Paperboy at the Grammys. wearing that jacket.
I'm like, baby boy, what are you doing, baby? What are you doing?
Black folks are so fashionably extra. I love it, but I'm also like, y'all are crazy. Crazy. And then Darius with that cape, and you don't even see the cape until they're at the restaurant afterwards.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, he had on a cape like Meghan
I did not notice that. I was just kind of like, oh, Darius, what are you doing? Where you been at?
It was like a short man cape, but it was giving me Meghan Markle vibes. She looked sharp at that funeral.
Oh, my God. She practiced for that shit. She was like, oh. She was cutting people with her shoulder blades. She just looked like, yes, hello, I am your nightmare.
Serving.
She looked good. And she knew it. She was just up there like, this photo is going to be on all of the vlogs. Like, she posed like, get it now. Get it now. Oh, yes. He's holding my hand and squeezing my hand. Yes. This motherfucker is never coming back.
Someone on TikTok even referenced, she did the glory tear. She had a single tear rolling down her cheek. Like,
I didn't even notice. The bitch is an actress. She needs to get an Oscar for that. And the Oscar goes to Meghan Markle at the funeral with a glory tear. She's like, I'd like to thank Denzel.
Buck and the facilitator and Paperboy meet up, and they're all congratulatory. They're like, why are you here? It's like, oh yeah, Yellow Kid, that's you? Like, yeah.
That cracked me up. I'm like, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But then Yellow Kid ODs, and then his baby's mama, I had no idea the pregnant girl sitting in the studio was for him. But she goes up.
There was no like interaction ever. Like, I was like, is she like about to be Iggy Azalea? Like, I saw her as somebody like, is she kind of on hold to be like the white girl version of this, which definitely happens. So, yeah, that was just crazy how she was like, oh, and his legacy. And I'm just like, this is crazy.
Benny knows that Yodel Kid is dead because they sent the car to pick him up, and he's like, yeah, he dead. And then like
they couldn't casual about it.
Yeah. They couldn't tell Al this, at all, since Al is his manager. Like,
Al is his manager, you would assume that, like, because like when they have these little like white kids, like I remember Usher was like with Justin Bieber all the time. Like, yeah. It seems like they, like they're getting good with the family. Like, why wouldn't you know this? But then judging off what Al says later, it makes me wonder, like, okay, Al found his person and he's making money, but was he good at it? Like, was he good with the relationship side? I would not be surprised if he wasn't. Because you remember, like, what he says to Earn, like, man, like, how do you do? It takes a lot. Like, you basically have to babysit somebody. And, like, especially if you really don't care about them for anything outside of the money, you got to work extra hard to be like, no, man, I really care about you. So how's your mom? Like, how'd the operation go? Like, that takes something that Al do not have. He does not have that. Like, he's so just like, well, they told me to, let's go get a little white nigga. So, all right, like, do some shit. You know how Al is. Like, I don't know, man, do it. I don't know. Like, he's just so, he's rough around the edges. And I could see him just like, he didn't know like what was going on with that boy who had serious problems.
Yeah, he had serious problems.
Like, why are you always high? Is it because like you actually like wanted to be doing country? Like,
no, a lot of them. And I posted the link. A lot of, this is just from recently, all these, because I was just looking for white rappers who died. And it just says 7 famous rappers, but most of the people on this list, surprisingly, are white kids or white people, and I hadn't heard of them. So like
they always have access to the good stuff, though. Like, that's always been a thing that you hear about. Like, if you've got like well-off kids, they've not only got drugs, but like they got the good shit. Like, they have access to it. As I talk about parents about like paying tuition and like wanting to send your child this way, the one thing I've heard them say is, yes, like those are very good schools, but make sure you have honest conversations with your child about drugs because of who they're around. They're going to be around like a lot more drugs than they would be if they were just at like the regular old private school. And it's going to look sexier than just like, oh, that's my cousin that's like back there tweaking behind a dumpster off of whatever. It's going to be like fun looking and whatever. I'm like, that is something I never thought about. Another thing to worry about in 10 years going.
Oh, no.
I was not thinking about that at all.
Okay. You've heard the news reports about how this fentanyl now looks like candy. It looks like Smarties candy. So I don't know about trick-or-treating this year. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll have to really, really go through the candy because there have been kids. There's a lot of kids ended up in the emergency room.
Wow. This is their razor blades in the candy bars.
Yeah. It's fentanyl that looks like candy. Looks like Smarties.
No, I hadn't heard about that either.
Yeah. So
enjoying the land of the living. I had not heard about that.
I don't know. Like, I remember hearing about Mac Miller. He died of an overdose. He's a white rapper. I don't know who this Lil Peep person is. Let me see if he's white. He might be. Yeah, Lil Peep was white. OD'd. Lexi Alege with
I don't know who these people are. These sound like diseases.
Yeah, Lexi Alege. She looks multiracial. She died. Hella Sketchy, white rapper, died. Shock G is actually from...
Hella Sketchy is the name of the person? I thought you were referring to the way the multiracial girl died. I thought you said Hella Sketchy.
No, Hella Sketchy is a rap guy. Like, if you pull up this art... Wait a minute. Yeah, the article... Yeah, if you pull it up, you'll see all these people. Hella Sketchy is white. Shock G, that's from Digital Underground.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, most of the people in this 7 rappers who OD'd are white. So the fact that they had the Yodel Kid die of an overdose, like while being high,
it tracks for sure.
Yeah, definitely tracks.
We kind of could have called that, like he was high the entire episode.
Yeah.
Like at different points. Yeah. But the moment I heard that, I was like, oh, Al is about to really cash in now, though.
Yeah.
Like, that was the first thing I thought, like, oh, he's going to make the real money.
Yeah, because of course he was definitely going to win the award, which the little pregnant girlfriend, and that was a real baby. Like, I thought they were, you know how usually television shows do fake babies? That was a real baby. But yeah, she accepted the award for him, and he's probably gonna, Al should make a lot of money off of royalties from the sale.
Sad. That's so sad. That's so morbid.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, how many managers have facilitated deaths? Like, you know, like how often it's so scary. Like, it's cliche to say, but it's like you really do have to have like people around you. Somebody's got to be there, like from before you were this, like somebody who like has not always made money off of you. Like you're not literally, like I see it just so differently now. Like, wow, these artists are like, you are literally my meal ticket. So whereas you would think that you would be protected because of that, there's more notoriety after death. And it's like, oh shit.
Honestly, is it not akin to slavery though? At this point, they're a commodity and they're being traded. You know, his talent himself is a commodity, but these days it's not enough to just have talent. You have to sell your entire persona, you know, and always
brand.
Your personal brand and everything. So yeah, that was kind of, I wish the show would have just been completely on that and not with the D'Angelo thing. And
with like a Darius subplot or B story, because a Darius B story is going to be interesting. Like I really feel like if Darius was one that was searching for D'Angelo, it would have been more interesting. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like it wouldn't have been the same thing. It wouldn't have been bound to like, oh, because he has to sign him. Because it's Darius. Like that's what makes Darius's things interesting. They're not bound to anything except to be weird. Like it's not like, okay, well, you know, it has to follow the storyline of him trying to sign him. Darius is not an agent. Darius is a random nigga. He's a vagabond. And so anything can happen, you know, but I don't know. This is the first episode that I was disappointed in, and it wasn't even the entire episode. It was just Ern's part. It was just very disappointing. Save for just like a few observations. Like another thing I noticed is that when he found D'Angelo and he turned around, looking at how Ern looked, I was like, this looks like the How Does It Feel, D'Angelo? And then D'Angelo after he was actively trying to be ugly. Like he had the white beard on, he's standing there, you know, he's not as cut, but like Ern is pretty like not flabby.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, was this on purpose? I'm like, this is How Does It Feel, D'Angelo? And then that's the other one. The ODB D'Angelo, like when he morphed into Old Dirty Bastard.
Yes. I guess it's true that we are all D'Angelo, but whatever. So yeah, and that's I tried to look up Mikey Boston because I was just like, well, Darius mentions this Mikey Boston party. Is that is that relevant? There's no Mikey Boston. There's
probably some other dude named like Tim Austin or something. They're just fucking with us.
Something, I don't know. So yeah, let's go through our elements then.
I did not have, I didn't have a That's So Atlanta, but I'm going to make it the packet Dasani water because Coke.
Yes. Of course, my Dariusism is him rocking that cape. Like, because what he said was true. Like, Grammys is not for the black man. It's not. But yeah, the cape, I was feeling it. What was did you have a Dariusism? No. And I didn't have one. And then I didn't notice the cape. I didn't see that until I looked at the notes. And I just did not notice that he had on a cape. I think I was still just tripping. I was still like just thinking about the episode, like on that scene, you know, and I watched the episode 3 times. I did not notice that Darius had a cape on. Oh yeah, when he gets up and leaves the table and he walks, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, that's my Dariusism. Of course, yeah, we both agree on D'Angelo's office being a mystical element.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna add that fried chicken skin sandwich because I wanted a fried chicken skin sandwich, but like
I do want some chicken skin now.
Yeah.
I think that's the best. The best.
It does. It's so and crunchy. It's very satisfying to eat.
I think our SGR moments were the same. The Yodel kid. Yeah. Because it was sad, but that was my first thought. Like, man, he's dead. Oh, he's about to really get money now. And I was like, oh, that's really sick. But it's true. Like, he is. That's what's going to seal it.
Yeah.
And that is the show.
Thank you for watching. Rappin' Atlanta is recorded and produced by Nita Sharice and Nikki Ebo. Our theme music is Joy Clark's Galaxy Groove, performed by Joy Clark. Discover more about this talented artist at joyclarkmusic.com. Rappin' Atlanta's artwork is created by Prime Vice Studios. Learn more about this intellectual property development agency at primevice.com. You can find us on your favorite podcast player as well as YouTube. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and follow Rappin' Atlanta on Twitter and Instagram at Rappin' Atlanta.